Right, welcome. So today we are installing the cylinder head. We are installing it because in the last video we cleaned it, we went over the head and made sure it is good to go. So today we're installing the head, as well as I'm going to show you how to check your timing, as well as how to circulate oil in a block and just have it primed and ready to go. So once you turn that key, you are gonna be good to go. So you know what, let's actually start off with that. So if you're gonna circulate oil, the first thing you need to do is make sure your block has oil. So you're gonna take your 5 liter and you're gonna pour it into the block. Now what we use there, as you can see, is just a funnel and pour it directly into the block. Now how much oil you want to put in, you can use your dipstick to just check and make sure you don't overfill. But remember, if you fill oil and it is slightly above the recommended mark, well, don't worry. Once you put your filter on and you actually circulate it, oil is going to go into a filter and it will bring your oil level down just a little bit. So just do keep that in mind if you are just slightly over. However, if you are well and truly past the mark, you're gonna have to drain some oil out of the sump. So once you finish fill oil into the block, you are gonna be ready to start circulating said oil.
Okay, the intermediate shaft is driven from the cam belt, and the intermediate shaft rotates the distributor. Okay, the distributor rotates the oil pump. That's how we get our oil feed. It's like a, you see, there's like cutaways. See?
Can you see it on camera?
Yeah. Right now, the oil pump, you line it up there. Must line up there. Then your distributor, you got a mark on here, right? And then that goes in to there. Down. Okay. It's in. Okay. With it, bracket and bolt. See? There's the oil coming out. See? You got it? And the oil starts coming, folds up into the filter, and then filter comes from the filter into the block and up to the head. Yeah.
Now the reason for you to actually circulate the oil like that before you put the head on and everything is to alleviate the fact of when you go to start the car for the first time, the oil will travel out from the filter through the oil galleries onto the bearings and then up to the head. So now it's time to install the head. Now carrying over the head, it was heavier than usual because we had the exhaust manifold as well as the intake also paired to it. Now it's not very heavy. I need to correct this from the last video, but it just helps having two people to actually lift it and place it, because now we need to have it sit straight onto the block and we need to make sure that the metal gaskets doesn't move at all. It needs to still be in place. So we're gonna carry it and then plonk it down. So once you have your head in place and you're happy with it, you are gonna head on over and grab your head bolts. Now with your head bolts, you wanna make sure they are well lubricated. So you wanna take oil drizzle them over the balls. Make sure the threads are covered in oil. This way it is going to help when just tightening, and the bolts are just going to be, well, lubricated. Once you have all 10 of your bolts actually put into place, well, then you can grab your short extension as well as the tool, the spline tool that goes with your head bolts. So once you get those, then you can just hand tighten it. You do not need to put a lot of pressure right now because you are still gonna torque these bolts down. So for now, just a hand tighten to get them actually just holding in place, because with the weight of the intake as well as the exhaust manifold on the back, you need to also hold your head in place because it will want to be tilting back. So that's also something you need to keep in mind. Now, when you are hand tightening now, do keep in mind you want to keep making sure that, okay, your gasket or the head hasn't moved the gasket. You want to make sure the gasket is placed correctly on the head as well as the block. So just make sure, okay, there's no movement, there's no sliding with the head being on top of it now. And once you see, okay, you know what, everything is where it needs to be, well, then you can grab your ratchet and start actually really tightening down those head bolts. Now, with your ratchet, you do not need to use all of your force, all of your strength to tighten these bolts down. Just nip them into place, make sure, okay, they are solid, because you are still gonna torque your bolts. So after you go through all 10 bolts, making sure, okay, they are down, they are situated, they are in place, they are where they need to be, well, then you can grab your torque wrench and start torquing down the bolts. Now on screen is the page that comes with your headset. So as you can see, the first torque setting that you need to use is 30 Newton meters. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We use 40 Newton meters. You can start off with either 30 or 40 Newton meters and then move on to 60 Newton meters. Now when I say start off and move on, what you want to do is, with 30 Newton meters, you want to go through all of the balls. You want to go through all 10 hit balls and then give it a minute. Give it a good few, maybe 2-3 minutes. Let the ball sit, and then you want to go at it again at 60 Newton meters and tighten all 10 balls down again. Now, when tightening the air bolts, there is a sequence that you must follow, and it is the sequence on screen right now. Once again, this is the same sheet that is going to have the torque settings that you must follow. This does come supplied in your Victorine's headset. So if you didn't for some reason get this page, because sometimes they leave it out, this is a sequence you must follow. It's 1, 2, and as you can see, and so forth. So you have your 10 bolts that you need to tighten down. Now it is a mandatory thing for you to follow the sequence. You have to follow it to avoid any possible hiccups, any possible problems that could occur later on. So just make sure you do tighten down your head bolts following the sequence. Once you've tightened your bolts down, you want to grab a cloth and wipe off whatever excess oil is sitting on top of the head bolts. Now you do this because you actually need to mark the head bolts, because you need to take a power bar and rotate the bolts now. That is why under the torque settings you will actually see there 90 90. That means you need to tighten the bolts, well, you need to rotate the bolts 90 degrees. Same story where you need to give it a few minutes, 2-3 minutes, just give it time to sit, and then rotate it another 90. So in total you need to do 180 degrees. So just rotate them a half circle.
Right. We talked at 40, 60, right? And then we pull it from mark the bolts and pull it 90 and then 90 again.
90.
Yeah, after that, right?
Now, when you are rotating the bolts, you want to follow the same sequence that I showed you when talking on the bolts. You basically copy and paste the same method that you use when talking on the bolts to just rotate the bolts. You follow the same procedure, the same sequence. Now this is where you want your marks to be once you finish rotating the balls. I'm trying to make sure the camera is able to even see the marks. Now, after we talked down there, the next thing we did was we put on the water housing. So, just like majority of the parts that have gone into this engine, this is a brand new water housing. The old one was looking a bit brittle, it wasn't looking in best shape. So instead of us putting it on and having a break in a couple of months' time or even in a week's time, well, just put a brand new water housing on. So that is exactly what we did. So now with the water housing, when putting it on, you want to make sure you have a bit of sealer. Victorine sealer, you know, that's the go-to. So just a light bit of Victorine sealer around the water housing, and that will now secure, or at least you know it's going to be a tight fit and sealed straight onto the head. Now there are two bolts that hold the water housing into place, and there are two number 10 bolts. So we grabbed our small set long extension with 10mm socket and we just tighten the bolts on. So we just use hand at first and then we grab the ratchet and put them on. We then repeated the same process with the other housing that also attaches to the head. So with the rubber hose as well as a black metal pipe being connected, that is that housing done and dusted. So the next thing to be changed was the switch. Now the switch came with the head, so we don't know if it's working, but it should be working. But regardless, we are gonna switch it out for our own.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
From there, the side hose was the next to get connected to the water housing, but only once we found the right clamp to go along with it. After we managed to find a clamp and put that side hose on, we then moved on to putting the cam belts on as well as the new tensioner. Now this is how you make sure that your timing is right.
In the on the distributor here, there's the slash mark here on the distributor. I don't know if you can see it down here. It's in here, right? On the distributor, there's a slash mark there. Okay, can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Outer facing there. That mark in line with tappet cover. Must be when the tappet cover is on. in it mark. The mark here will be with the tapered cover. Then see, it is the mark here. Flywheel, gearbox here, and flywheel lining up here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got the cam mark there. You got it?
Yeah.
With the top of with the tapered cover. We'll finish level with the tapered cover. And then yeah, we got the splash mark for rotor here.
Move the lights. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now we'll do rotation and come back. Let's do rotation.
Okay.
Okay, that's more than two. Right, what's wrong?
Belt. Oh, it's not even. No, I just saw that belt was coming
I
up
check
there.
your marks now. Okay, go down.
Slowly, slowly. So, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It is the
Back
mark.
there. Back here.
Is,
Need light. And then this one here.
yeah, I'm coming.
And then the cam on here. Back there.
Yeah.
Top of the tapered cover.
Top of the tapered cover.
Right. Okay, move the car forward.
Yeah.
Go closer so you can see the oil is going to come.
I can
Right.
see the oil sits in now.
Alright, just wait, let me wind it. Hey,
Yeah.
you can see the oil.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Oil's coming.
Oil's coming.
Huh?
Oil's coming now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the oil up in the head.
So now that we see that there is oil in the head, it's coming through the lifters, the cam is rotating, you can see the oil come in there. Now we can move on to putting the taper cover on. So with the gasket, you just put on the...
Put sealer on the, on the end there, around the arch, and on the side, and on the inside and the end.
Now you only need to put sealer at the same places where you put sealer on the tapered cover gasket. You just need to put it on the ends. So once you put your sealer on, you can then take your taper cover and plonk it in place. You can put it and just have it sealed. So once the taper cover goes on, push it down, put a little bit of pressure, then you can grab your balls
1.4.
and actually just tighten the taper cover down. Now depending on your taper cover, it may or may not have the supporting rails right here. So just make sure your taper cover, which one you have and whether or not you have these rails. So I know the black taper cover like this, I know they're not all black, but the taper cover shaped like this has these supporting rails, whereas the normal 2-liter taper cover that does not. So just keep in mind whether your taper cover has these rails or not. So after we put on the rails, the next thing to go on was the cam cover or the top cover or whatever you want to call it. That was the next piece of the puzzle to go on.
Yeah.
What's going on now? Next up was the spark plugs. So spark plugs we just put in because why not? They can go in, they're not going to be in the way. So we put them into the head, and afterwards we then moved on to the intake. Now with the intake we need to connect a little pipe from the fuel rail to the intake, and it's really simple. It's just as that. You don't even need to put any clamps on it. That pipe just stays like that. Next up was the oxygen sensor. Now this sensor isn't looking in the best condition. This is one we had laying around. However, we did purchase a new one which we still are gonna put on. So regardless, this was the next thing to go on. Now, why this video was a bit shorter than usual is because majority of the day we spent on the wiring. We started wiring up the MP9 loom. Now I'm not showing any of it in this video because I want to make a dedicated video because we haven't even finished wiring it all up. So I don't want to have some wiring in this video, some wiring in the next video. I want to have all of the wiring in a dedicated video. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you hit that subscribe button now. So the last thing of the day to go on was the radiator, and before we put it on we just needed to change out the old pipes for the new ones. So it didn't take very long. It's just in 2 clamps in total, for 1 on each pipe. So swapping out the pipes was a very simple job. So once we swapped the pipes out, it was then time to install. So with installing you need to lower it down carefully. You don't want to possibly damage the front of the radiator, damaging the cores, because then you're not going to have great circulation and it's just going to cause breathing problems for your engine. So a healthy engine is an engine that receives a lot of air. So while the radiator is getting installed, I just want to say a massive thank you and shout out to everyone who has left a like, commented, subscribed, done all that good stuff, and is watching till this part of the video. It really means a lot to me, and thank you for almost 900 subscribers. We are at 890 subscribers at the time of recording this video, and it still blows my mind every time I see the number increase. So once again, massive thank you to every person who has left a like, viewed, commented, and just showed support for the build. Really does mean a lot, and it keeps us pushing and keeps us motivated to keep pushing out videos just like this. So don't forget, if you guys do want to enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe for more VW Fox content.